Sofirn has taken feedback from the flashlight community on the SP33 and come out with the SP33 V3. This uses a Cree XHP 50.2 LED, can produce up to 3500 lumens, takes a variety of battery sizes, 26650, 18650, and some 21700s. It's got onboard USB charging in a pretty small, compact size at a very affordable price. Thanks to Sofirn for sending this to me to review. They have also provided a nice discount, so if you're interested in that, please make sure to check out the description. And now, let's get into the review. Thanks to everyone who's already followed me on Instagram and on this channel's Facebook page. It really does help the channel grow. If you're not already following, links to everything will be in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon to make sure you're receiving notifications on new videos here on YouTube too. Here is the box that the SP33 comes in. You can see it's a little bit fancier than what Sofirn's done in the past. Got their website on the side here. Not many specs or anything like that. It's kind of a generic box that they can use multiple lights with just a sticker on the bottom telling you what model's inside. Accessories that are included with the SP33 V3 kit are the 5500 milliamp hour 26650 battery, an 18650 battery adapter tube, a USB A to C charging cable, manual, and a lanyard with a couple extra O-rings. The SP33 V3 is made from 6061 aluminum and is hard anodized in a black machine finish. Machine's pretty good here for the price range. Starting at the tail cap, you can see it is flat. There's nothing going on there. It is raised here and it's got a spot for your lanyard. You've got some straight line knurling and some flats milled in here mainly for style. And this is the only place on the light where that knurling exists. On the inside of the tail cap, you can see it's just got a spring there. It is non-magnetic. Threads here are Acme cut and pretty nice. Cell wall here is thicker than what I expected, and that makes for an extremely strong light. And while I've got it apart, here is the battery. It is a Sofirn branded cell, 5500 milliamp hours. No problems here with this battery. The body tube here is reversible on the light, which is nice. It's got knurling and 4 panels. I'd call it a medium knurling. It does a nice job with grip your hand, but isn't too much. At the head here, we've got the button. It is plastic. It's got an LED in the center, red and blue. And then we've got a silver bezel for accent, and the button does stand proud just a hair. We've got just a little bit of the heat sinks cut on it for style and heat relief. On the very back here, we've got the USB-C charging port. This port cover does stand just a little bit proud. It feels fine in your hand and doesn't get in the way, but it does make sitting that flashlight down flat difficult. You've got plenty of room here for charging cables. And then looking at the head here, we've got that stainless steel bezel. It will come unscrewed with some force. Looking down inside there, you've got the lens, the orange peel reflector, and that XP 50.2 LED. I measured the length of the light at 126 millimeters, maximum diameter at 37.5 millimeters, minimum diameter at 32 millimeters, and weight with the included battery is 229 grams. Now I don't have a lot of great 26650 lights to compare this to. I've got the Wowtac A4 V2 here that I reviewed recently, and you can see lengthwise that they're very similar, but the diameter on that Wowtac is larger because it's kind of a thrower. And the Sofirn SP36, this is another one I've reviewed. I picked it out because lengthwise they're very, very similar. The SP36 here runs off 3 18650 batteries though, so it's a decent amount thicker in diameter. On retention here, there's not a lot to say. There isn't a place for a clip on this light. Doesn't come with a holster either. The tail cap does have that place for that lanyard. It does tail stand just fine and stands on its head just fine. This light is using a Cree XHP 50.2 LED at 3 volts instead of 6 volts on the V2 version of this light. Tints listed between 6,000 and 6,500, so cool white. There is a 5,000 Kelvin version listed on the website, but I haven't seen that it's available for sale. Maybe they're all sold out or the product doesn't really exist. On lower power modes, I do notice a little bit of a green tint and tint shift in my example, but it's minimal. On higher powers, you do get noticeable tint shift across the beam, and I'd categorize this light as an all-purpose beam. It's fairly wide in the hot spots, so broad and and not a thrower, yet it goes a good amount of distance, as you can see in my night shots here. Sofirn quotes a throw of 275 meters, and I think that's a pretty good, pretty accurate ballpark number. The V3 here is using a FET driver instead of a boost driver, meaning it's drawing more current from the battery and thus higher turbo output, as you see. You're going to want a good, high quality, high drain, unprotected battery with this light for maximum performance. It can accept 26 650s, which I've got in here now. It does come with an adapter tube, so 18 650s will work, and unprotected flat top 21 700s will fit, but there is some slop here, so it might rattle just a little bit. The light does have PWM on all modes according to my scope and solar cell setup. That said, it's pretty fast in my eyes and my camera doesn't catch it either. Output is listed here as turbo is 3500 lumens, high is 1600 lumens, medium is 450 lumens, low is 150 lumens, and moon is 1. Okay, I've got the night shots for the Sofirn SP33 V3. Here is moonlight mode. It is 1 lumen. If I bump up, this is the next mode, 150 lumens, so this is a good idea of the beam characteristics of the light. You can see it's got somewhat of a hot spot, but it's also floody. If I throw out here, hits my fence in my yard, no problem. That's about 45 feet. Next up is medium mode, 450 lumens here. Reaches that neighbor's fence. That's about 150 feet there, no problem. Stepping up, this is 1600 lumens high. You start to see the trees in the background there, and unfortunately I don't know the distance exactly there, but I'm gonna guess it's about 300 feet. And if I double click to turbo, this is the full 3500 lumens from that Cree XHP 50.2. You can see lights up those trees nicely. It's a big broad beam if I shine into this tree here. So it's kind of floody, but it's not really a spot. It's a good all-purpose beam, I feel like. This light does have pretty active thermal controls here, so it's not getting too hot. It's not a timed step down, which is nice to see there. It also has strobe if you triple click. So the SP33 here, V3 features advanced thermal regulation without timed step downs. It will increase outputs and then decline with the driver's internal temperature reaching 55 C. Brightness increases again here when temperatures decrease, and we can see this in my runtime graphs. As you see the seesaw motion, not what you typically see. On average, you're seeing maybe a 20% swing in relative output over the life of the battery after the initial turbo step down. I didn't really notice the seesaw motion when I was using it and went on a walk. Turbo did start stepping down due to heat at 1 minute and 45 seconds, taking a little over a minute to step down to 18% relative output to cool. From here, you can see on the graph it went up and down in terms of output as the flashlight regulated its own heat. This is a little bit more aggressive than what we typically see on lights, but it's nice to see on a budget light. Total runtime on the included 5500 milliamp hour battery was 3 hours and 24 minutes. FL1 was at 3 hours and 11 minutes. Maximum temp I saw during runtime on the exterior was 48 C or 118 degrees Fahrenheit. So it definitely gets warm, but not too hot to handle. This light has 2 UI modes by default. Mode 1 here is logical. It's got moonlight. If you just push and hold, you get moonlight. And then once it's on, you can cycle through the modes. The 4 main modes do have memory. Long press to turn it off. As I said, moonlight when it's off, long press to turn moonlight mode on. And when it's on, double click to go to turbo, triple click to go to the SOS and blinking modes. The second UI mode here is ramping. Then to switch between the two with the light is on, do a quick quad press. And the light will flash there twice. And now you've got ramping mode. So here is the speed from low to high, starting now. And there we are at top end. Double click to go to turbo. Well, I usually really like ramping modes here. It's just a little bit slow for my taste, and I'll stick with the stepped modes myself. There is an electronic lockout with this light, but you've got to click 4 times. I find that all just a little bit hard, confusing. I'd much rather just break the seal here just like that and lock it out mechanically. This light isn't picky about the type of batteries it uses, as I mentioned prior. It'll accept 26 650s of all types, 18 650s of all types with the included spacer, or unprotected flat top 21 700s. The latter having the most slop in that tube due to not an appropriately sized adapter. I used that supplied 5500 milliamp hour Sofirn battery. Low voltage protection kicked in at 2.895 volts, so a little lower than I prefer, but acceptable. And the battery measured at 4.15 volts when fully charged. As you can see here, this light has USB-C. I've got my cable here hooked up to a power bank, and this red one is hooked up to USB-C. And If we look at the front here, no LEDs, it's not charging. And that's unfortunate. I've got another cable here. It is hooked up to USB A to C. And if we look at the front here, we can see it's got a red LED, so it is charging. So this light only charges with that USB A to C, unfortunately. Charging from low voltage protection, the light took 3 hours and 30 minutes, and maximum charge rate was 1.7 amps. So for me, the pros are this is a great budget-friendly price for a light and a great overall package. At time of filming with the coupons, it's about $32. It's available in a few different versions with or without a battery, and there is a tint option listed on the Alley store. And the UI here I think is more beginner friendly than Android. A little slower on the ramp, but the step mode I think is great. The cons are it's not fully utilizing USB-C to C. It requires a USB A to C cable to fully recharge. At this price point, I'm just glad it has USB-C. It's got very active thermal controls, which varies output quite a bit, and there's no neutral white tint widely available. So my conclusion is the Sofirn SP33 V3 is a low-cost light with a lot of output. Sofirn lists the light as making 3500 lumens, and all indications says it meets this. It can run on 26650, 18650, and some 21700 batteries, so it's widely compatible with the 3 most popular battery sizes today. Its features are not usually found in this price category. Like I mentioned, USB-C charging, active thermal control, and a stainless steel bezel. The active thermal controls, like I said, are pretty reactive, but they're smooth, and I don't really notice it with my eye as much as the graph shows. I do wish it was more widely available in neutral white, but I don't see this available on Amazon. For the money, especially with the discount that Sofirn's offering this month, it really makes this light a great value for a complete kit, about $32 at the time of filming. It fits well in my hand, I feel like, and it provides a ton of light. I really can recommend this as a great high output budget light to pick from. Let me know, guys, what you think of the SP33, or if you've got one, I'd love to know what you think. As always, thanks for watching these videos. If I've earned it, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click that bell icon either, and I'll catch you on the next review.